Welcome back, viewer. This is Chungu Jamii. Today we are talking of the solutions that you're supposed to know or learn about to be able to salvage our marriages and make our marriages to work. Before we went on a break, we had asked what are the signs that a couple should consider to seek counseling or guidance when it comes to marriage. Viewer, I hope you're learning as much as I am. Send in your question, your comments across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. So maybe coming to you with that question. As a pastor, as a counselor, we have been in church. When we have issues, we come to you for guidance, for help, and to shed a little or more light when it comes to these issues. So maybe take us through that.
Yes. The world of a human being, very complicated, and even the author, I'm sorry, but does not trust human being. And that's why I always say, trust me. Human being has complicated heart, and there's no any other given time that we can say is signs, because the first sign is when people trust themselves. Because once you trust yourself, then you think you can protect yourself and you can save yourself. And that's why, for us, the first sign is a man going out alone. Why? Because once you are used to going out alone when you need to be with your spouse, then that means you are you're becoming vulnerable. You're becoming vulnerable. You're going out, for example, you're not going to work, you are going for evening dinner, you are going for a friend's house, or such things like that, or a wedding party, or a birthday party. Such times you need to go with your spouse. Why you go alone? Your spouse is at home, yes, go together. And something is happening and you're not that busy, go together. But when somebody goes alone and walks alone, eventually that is a sign already. Why walk alone while you should go with your spouse? And your spouse has time, has just remained at home. Also, a spouse that always say, I am tired, I cannot go with you. Such spouses also, they have something that we have to think about. Why are you not walking? Why are you not going with me? I'm asking for your company. So these things start from the time one spouse starts to walk alone. This is a sign. Going to work, yes, you can go to work alone because you are not working in the same company.
Sure.
But you are at home. You have a friend has invited you. Then why go alone? Why don't you go with your spouse? So that is a sign. Then how can we do? Then counselors will always come in and say, don't trust yourself. You are vulnerable. You are weak. You can fall at any time. So such people, they need to know, as I start to walk alone, I am soon falling down. Bible says, when two walk together, if one fall, the other one will raise. Which means, even though you had a wrong intention, and because you have your spouse, your mind will be swifted back and you will be connected. But if you walk alone, then once your mind goes, it will go and waver and then go to the dump. Those are the signs that I will always talk about, trusting ourselves and trying to walk alone.
Maybe you can give us a take on the same.
The question was, how do you know that
Yes.
you need help?
Yes.
There are quite a few pointers. And the first one I would say, intimacy goes. For people to be intimate, you have to be in good terms. So many times the intimacy is no longer there. Number two, breakdown in communication. You find that you are not able to get through to one another. In terms of when you talk, you disagree. And I'm not saying all disagreements are a problem. Sometimes we disagree on issues and principles, and that is okay, it is very healthy. But you find that you are no longer agreeing on anything. So that is a pointer that you have a problem. When you find that you are happier alone, when the other spouse is not there, that is an indicator that your marriage is in problems. When you find that you are enjoying your company alone, or the company of others, as he said, you are enjoying their company more than you are enjoying the company of your spouse, then there is a problem. And that may be an indicator either to start working on it as a person, and if you feel that it has gone to the level where you cannot be able to do it on your own, then you begin to get help. The other thing would be, resentment, and you find that you are raising your voices. So as you speak concerning any issue, you find that you are raising your voices. I always tell people, when their hearts are very close together, you will even find yourself talking in whispers. Because on a spiritual level, you are connected.
Sure.
And you are not very far. But when you find yourself beginning to shout so that you can be heard, something is very wrong. It means that emotionally and spiritually you are very far away. Because I can be with you here, but in my heart I'm not with you. So that is why you will find, as we try to speak, I will feel you are not listening to me. So I will begin to raise my voice, trying to reach that plane where you will begin to understand. So it is very intricate and very, very, very complicated. But when you see these signs, when you find that you are being intimate, now you are no longer happy. You do not even want to become intimate with this person. When you find that when they are away, that is when you have your best time. When you find that when they go out, the alone time we keep talking about, alone time is not bad. But when you find that it is getting better and you are enjoying it more than you are enjoying when your spouse is around, then that means that marriage needs some work.
Wow.
Yes.
We are running out of time, and I would like us to, we've talked of the problems, now we are talking of the solutions. Maybe you can give us a pointer each of 5 things that we should work on to ensure that our marriages are working and thriving properly. Starting with you, Mr. Nelson.
Yeah, thank you. Sacrifice is very important. And as we sacrifice, I believe that we are going to fill the gap of our spouse. Second thing, I would like us to know very well that trusting myself is one way of disagreeing with my spouse. And when I will always know that I can be wrong anytime, then I will always be very careful with how I speak, also very careful with how I address the other partner. And this will always also give her time to think about other things.
Sure.
We need to discuss matters and bring in the best opinion. And as we discuss matters and bring in the best opinion, then it means that we have always to have suggestions, suggesting. And when we agree, then we make a step, we move forward. Because a healthier marriage means discussion, coming together and talking one to another. And that's why men live as men and animals live as animals. Because animals face the other side and they face the same direction, but men, they face one to another. Why? Because this is the world of communication. They have to talk. How is your feeling? How are you getting it? How is everything? And then without that, then it means it cannot work. So relationship of a husband and a wife is communication.
Thank you so much. And to you, Madam Susan.
In fact, what he said is very important. Communication is one of the key ingredients in any relationship, not just marriage, any relationship. employer, worker, in any relationship, communication is very important. The other thing is that in marriage, he said sacrifice.
Sure.
I add forgiveness. Having a spirit of forgiving. There is much that is going to happen that is not going to please you. In marriage, you cannot succeed with the business of keeping grudges. Grudges lead to resentment. Resentment leads to infidelity. Infidelity leads to breakdown. One builds to the other. So you have to learn to forgive. Forgive when they don't understand you. Forgive yourself when you fail. Learn to forgive them and forgive yourself. That is very important. Number 3, intimacy. I cannot emphasize enough. Intimacy in a marriage is tantamount. It is very important. And when I talk intimacy, I'm not just talking about the bed. I'm talking about feeling close to one another. Body language. I spoke about body language at some point. The body language that you share. How do you feel when that person is close to you? Cultivate a way of making them feel noticed, making them feel seen. And I usually say touch is very important. And I do not mean the intimate, just the intimate touch. Touch is a language that is understood even by the blind. We know that.
Sure.
It is understood by animals. So use your touch language to be able to make sure that you are cultivating your intimacy. And very simple things like holding somebody's hand, engaging them when you're talking, looking at them when you're talking to them, making sure they feel that you are listening when they are talking. So the other thing, that would bring me to the other point. Cultivate a culture of listening to one another. Not so that you can answer, but so that you can understand. This being said, when a woman will express, I feel rejected, it does not mean you have rejected her. But you should listen to understand where it is coming from. There is a reason she's feeling that way. When a man says, I feel disrespected, you may feel I've not disrespected him in any way. So cultivate a culture of listening so that you can understand where the issues are coming from.
Sure.
And also cultivate a culture of dealing with those problems without so much emotion, or rather without doing it emotionally. Look at them, understand them. And I know women are emotional, but there is a place you can cultivate to listen first, and then be able to understand, and then now not react, but answer that which has been given. So it is very important. So the first one I would say is communication. I would say forgiveness, listening to one another. Respect is very important. As you handle issues, you cannot afford to be abusive. So I was saying the fourth one is respect. It is very, very important. And the most important is prayer. And as he said, have a mentor. Nobody can teach themselves everything. That is why we get the best couple. And it is very important. The choice of the best couple that you choose is very, very important.
Sure.
And they always advise, choose a couple that has succeeded before you. As usual, we say if you walk with 5 millionaires, you'll become the 6th. So choose somebody who has walked in the journey. Like he said, he's there 30 years. Is his marriage working? Then if I'm looking for a best couple, why not them? But if you get somebody who is single, when you get into the time that you need help, because that should be the first person who should help you, how will they help you? They have never walked the journey. So the choice of the mentor and prayer is also very important.
Wow. Viewer, I hope you've heard for yourself, you've learned that the choice of mentor matters a lot. That you should be willing and ready to forgive as many times as possible. You should be ready to sacrifice for the betterment of your insignificant other. You should be willing to tolerate them and be patient with them as you walk in this journey of marriage. Marriage, to me, my take home is, and what I have learned today, marriage is like an empty vessel. You can only put as much as you want and also take out as much as you have put. So be wise, be cautious of what you put, because what you put is what you're going to get out of it. If this cup is filled with water, I'm only going to take water. And if I want to take tea, I have to pour out the water and put in tea. So in marriage and in that box of marriage, you should also be considerate of what you're putting into that marriage. Let's continue this conversation offline across all our social media networks. That's GBS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 21144. Till next time, have a nice time. Goodbye.